Hey, thanks for watching today. We're excited to share a new market to us. This is the Michigan tax deed auction season that we're going to be talking about. We have a ton of counties to cover, a lot of auction sources, and a lot of links. Don't worry, we're going to jump around, but I will put the links in the video description so you can refer back to those later. So let's dive in and talk about the tax deed auction season for Michigan. It all starts when a property is tax delinquent. And the county pretty much holds on to these tax delinquent properties and will foreclose on those within a couple years of that tax delinquency. So the counties will begin that foreclosure process around March and work on that through July. So that's kind of the season of the year where they're going to be working through those foreclosures. And the auctions for those tax deed foreclosures don't happen until August, September timeframe typically. We didn't see one auction at the end of July here this year, but pretty much August, September is your main auction season. This is where you get the first shot at some of these tax deed properties. There's going to be a minimum bid of taxes and fees and penalties, and bidding will go up from there. Next up, the unsold auction properties are going to go to a no reserve sale. This just means that it's a second auction of the leftovers, and there will be no minimum bid at these. These are not announced until after the initial reserve sale is complete, because they don't know how many are unsold and all of that. And then lastly, if a property makes it through the reserve sale and the no reserve sale all the way to the end of the auction season and is still unsold, there are ways to buy those leftovers over the counter. Several ways to do that. One is there's a inventory of surplus properties we'll talk about, and then there's actually numerous land banks in Michigan at both the state level and the county level. This video is really about the auctions, but we'll touch on that briefly later on. So a couple things to point out here. The tax deeds of Michigan, their redemption period ends before the auctions begin. Redemption for the owner is extinguished through that foreclosure process. We see this in some other states, but it's not a redemption deed where you have to buy at the auction and then wait and see if the owner redeems. It actually extinguishes before the auction. So that's appealing to investors for sure. And the other note is that as of the making of this video, we are here. We are right at the very beginning of auction season. Again, one auction did pass, but the rest of them are coming up in August and September, and then of course the fall reserve sale. So this is a good time to be looking at these auctions, studying the properties, and getting to know what's available. One quick sidetrack, if you want to know what we're looking at here, I mean, the way you would learn more about this if you don't have a coach or don't have other resources is you can actually go to the Michigan legislature. This will be one of the links I put in the video description, and there's a lot of reading material here. I won't make you read it right now, but if you click on some of these about sale redemption, delinquent taxes, the sale by county treasurer, that's a big one. A lot of these are going to go through at the state level and just tell you in legal terms what's going on here. So some deeper reading material for you if you want to know more about that. So let's go back to talk about these auctions at a glance. Let's just get a quick overview of how these things work. So that auction format is going to be premium bid, meaning that opening bid is the starting mark, and the investors will bid above that until there's a winning bid awarded at the highest bidder. So pretty much a traditional auction format. The auction locations, most of them are online. There are a few exceptions. That we found 3 auctions that are in person, and the other ones are in various locations we're going to cover here in this video. And just to draw out that auction season again, as it's currently scheduled as we see it, there was 1 auction in July, 75 coming in August, and then 11 in September. Then of course we have the no reserve sales are going to be in the fall. Now I will point out there are maybe 4 auctions that we're trying to get dates on, so I assumed, there are 2 that I assumed were in September. So these numbers might change by 1 or 2 here and there, +1, -1. We're just waiting on the final announcements to come out for a couple counties. So let's dig into where these tax deed auctions are, because frankly they're all over the place. So the easiest one, let's start off with the Michigan County Tax Auctions website. It's on tax sale info. The link is there. They cover about 70 counties, and they do have 4 more coming, but let's take a quick look at those. This is the tax sale info website homepage. And this is one of those places I mentioned where you can get to the surplus properties. We won't cover that in this video, but the surplus properties are here on this menu link there. These are going to be those leftovers. But let's look at the upcoming auction schedule. And this is one view where you can see some of these counties that are going to be auctioning in August and then moving on in September. So it's a very nice website. They've done a good job getting this down to something that's user-friendly. So I do like what they've done here. It kind of reminds me of how Arkansas consolidated their county auctions into one site, except this isn't all the auctions. It's just a lot of them. So tax sale info is one source for a lot of these auctions. Next up, let's the Wayne County Treasurer. This is the Detroit area. So they just handle their own auction announcements, and the official auction announcement is not available yet, just the preliminary foreclosure list, which we've linked to here. And this is the Wayne County Treasurer's homepage, or I'm sorry, this is one of their subpages here, auctions and claims. And you can get the foreclosed parcel list here, and it looks like that. You'll notice there are no opening bids yet, so that's a piece of information that would come out with the actual auction advertisement. And let's see, there's one more page here, the auction website, this blue link. Let's go. This is the auction website where you will eventually see the official announcement. You'll notice the dates to be announced soon. We called and talked to Wayne County, and it looks like they should be releasing some of this information around the second week of August. So we assume that sale, the official announcement, is probably going to be in September. That's one of the ones we had to guess at. We do have, if we're going to be looking at parcel fair here in a minute, and pull all this together into one place for you, we do have the preliminary auction list in a research format. So we'll get to that in a moment. But next up, Zeus Auction covers 2 counties. If you are an Indiana investor, then Zeus Auction is going to be familiar to you. This is one of the most straightforward auction websites to use. You create an account, you sign in, and you can do your bids on their site. And not just, I mean, Indiana's kind of the biggest thing Zeus does. They're in a few other states as well. A private broker handles 3 of the in-person auctions for Eaton, Ingham, and Newaygo. I have no idea how to pronounce those. I probably just butchered it, but those 3 counties are on this BIPP site here. So it's looks like a private broker. They have some good information here about the auction process. You can kind of see what's going on here. Let's go to this. This is like the Lansing area, Ingham. This is their auction advertisement with the date, time, location, and let's see. They do have. Let's check out this is where they post the properties in this little kind of flip bookish thing. The properties are in here somewhere. You have to click through. And yeah, so now we're getting to the properties. It's not really searchable or downloadable or anything, but we'll look at this again in a different format at the end of the video when we go to Parcel Fair and see all this in one place. And we also have this county, Washtenaw, again, not sure how to pronounce it. The auction was on July 22nd, which was yesterday, so the video didn't quite make it in time to cover that one auction. We were holding out to try to get as many auctions in as we can, and we had to release after that one auction. But it was available at auction.com, and the listings were provided by the county on this page here. Again, we'll put this in the video links. Let's talk about some of these totals and what's in the auctions. So this is probably a good time to mention, and I'll mention it several times in the video. Michigan may sound like the perfect state for a tax deed investor because it's a zero redemption, It's straightforward information. It's online. Most of the auctions are online, few in person. The one downside that we found is that the published county valuations on the property are just all over the place. Sometimes they seem realistic, and sometimes they seem from outer space. Like, absolutely, this is not a $500 appraised value property, yet that's what the county says. On top of that, they rarely publish improvement values consistently. So there are a lot of times where you just have to look at the property and do your best guess. The good news is there's only 4,645 properties to go through. So if you compare that to some other states with tens of thousands of properties in a season, this is not as many, and we can actually help you narrow that down by county and by other filters. But yeah, 4,645 properties advertised. The total auction property value, I just told you that the valuations are all over the place, so we had to do some funny math and give an estimate here. And this is a maybe ballpark at best estimate of $114 million. It's probably on the low end, just from what we've seen on the counties. It could be worth double that, maybe. But just in our county data and filling in some blanks, we think the auction's at least $114 million if you total all the property available. Delinquent taxes, also a tough one to calculate. So we estimated $29 million. That might be on the high side because it's hard for us to take out all the penalties and fees. So at any rate, this is the revenue that the counties are trying to recover, is probably around $29 million. Could be some penalties and fees in the mix there as well. And if we're looking at by county, we can't really estimate the taxes owed in Wayne because it's not released yet, like we just showed you, but we do know that they have the most deeds available at auction with 2,676, and that's across at least 2 auctions, and one of them is a smaller one. And then moving down the list, you see some of the other counties. These are smaller auctions, and what I was talking about earlier is if you narrow down your county focus a little bit, you could definitely get through these properties, and maybe the valuation problems don't trip you up as badly because you can make your auction list or your shopping cart, if you will, based on what you see in some of the photos. So it's not all bad news. It's just if I could fix one thing in Michigan, I would put accurate valuations and improvement valuations in their data so that researchers could do a little more accurate calculations. So let's move on to the live demo. Now, Parcel Fair is what we're going to be using the rest of this video, and let's take a look. Parcel Fair is going to put all these auctions in one place for you. You can see I've selected Michigan as the state I want to look at on the auction calendar. We have a lot of states in here to look at, but we're looking at the 74 auctions coming up in August. And one thing you may have noticed on one of the websites we looked at earlier is that you'll have several auctions on the same day. Again, this is kind of what Arkansas does, where they bundle a few county auctions together because there's just not a lot of properties in these counties. So August 1st, you have these 4 counties, less than 200 properties in there, just over 100 properties in there, really. But it's covering 4 counties. And so that's really just the convenience factor there. So moving down the list, you can see August 2nd has 7 counties and so forth. So some of these larger auctions, you might see like Lake County has 96 parcels, Oakland 133. They might even get their own day like that. And just moving on down. City of Highland Park is actually part of Wayne County. It's a separate auction. And into September, we had to guess on Wayne's tax deed auction. We did not have a date from them yet, so we assumed September and split the difference. This date will be updated as soon as Wayne County gives us a date. So it could be later in September if I had to guess, but right now we just put it on September 6th. And again, that will change as soon as we have official dates advertised. All right, so if you wanted to look at any of these auctions, you can actually click on the map if you're a map person and view the properties in the auction, or go to the list if you want to view something like the list properties that way. Sort by the values if you want to do that. You can sort by the acres by clicking this top heading. So that's a way you could peek into or preview one of these auctions. But let's zoom out and back up and just look at all the available parcels on the map. Okay, so again, this is Parcel Fair. I have all of the auctions on screen right now, viewed sort of like in a helicopter mode here. I can switch over to satellite view and zoom in on some of these cities. Like Lansing is here, and you can just zoom right into some of these properties and get a look at what's available in this upcoming auction. And again, if we want to go deeper into a property, we'll click on the details there and get a nice report of what's going on here. Now, when you're researching a property, if it's something you want to hang on to for later, I recommend adding it to a list. I've got a ton of lists, but if I want to make a new one here, let's call this the Michigan shopping list. And now I've got that property saved for later in my shopping list. One important thing to look at is the purchase option. This is going to give you steps and details about where and when to buy this property. August 22nd, 10 a.m. at the Lansing Center, East Michigan. This is one of the in-person auctions. The tax is due, which is going to be that opening bid. And of course, the links that will help you actually find this property and go to the auction. So this is the Ingham Treasurer's site where it was advertised. And of course, that takes us to that private broker, BIPPUS. This register for tax sale also takes us to that page. So it's sort of two different advertisements for the same auction, one with the broker and one with the county. Either link will get you where you need to go. And of course, the auction list itself, if we want to go browse the PDF file and look at those original advertisements, here they are. So anytime you're on a property in Parcel Fair and want to know how to buy it, this purchase options section is the place to go. And click that and you'll get all the information you need to find and bid on that property and go to the auction. So let's switch counties here. Why don't we check out Wayne County? It's the preliminary listing of foreclosures. So again, it's not officially advertised yet, but we can see this is the most dense county for properties. As you might have imagined, Detroit's just sort of the biggest city you think of in Michigan. So let's filter down to Wayne County and go from there. So we're looking at 2,676 parcels. This is going to be in two different auctions. The one on August 19th, there's only 25 properties in that one. It's the smaller auction here. And let's go to that. So the city of Highland Park is covering this auction. This is the kind of property we're looking at there. Looks like a tax property to me. I'm going to check that panorama view out, sorry. But windows boarded up, some overgrowth, maybe roof damage, maybe not. And this is what you can expect on a lot of these properties. They've been delinquent for years, and there's usually a reason for that. This is also, we found, as a vacant property, according to the U.S. Postal Service. So in this case, we do have improvements valued at $39,000. I know I said that improvements are not always published consistently, but in this case, they are published for this one property. And the land value, $6,000. So those are probably on the low side, but again, this is, at least we actually have valuations to go on here. Now, the auction itself, we'll click on the purchase option here and see that this is going to be online at Tax Sale Info on August 19th, and we have a button to register or view the actual list. Let's go follow that link. So this gives us the auction listings in Highland Park. These are the 25 properties in Wayne County that are just part of this small auction. So we'll back out and look at the other half of Wayne, or other chunk of Wayne County. That's the September 6th auction. So that's going to be the bulk of what's available. This is a great chance for me to show you, in Parcel Fair, you can't filter by improvements in Michigan. So if we were in Arkansas, you could do vacant land or improvements. But as soon as I switch over to Michigan, this is disabled because it's sort of a safety for your sake. Is we don't want you filtering on that, since the data is wildly inconsistent for improvements. And I'd hate for you to filter a county and say, oh, there's no properties with improvements here according to Parcel Fair, but in reality, there are. So we want to make sure you are just kind of keep you out of that trouble. So let me go back and select the correct auction here. And so this is going to be the rest of Wayne County in this auction. And I can sort of browse the parcels here on the right if I want to. View them by clicking Find on Map. There's actually a lot of properties that show up with houses or structures. in the area. So let's pick one to dig in one more time, and let's go with this one. So this one is valued at $15,500. Remember, valuations are wildly inaccurate here, so I don't trust this one myself. And we do know that this property is vacant. And if I want to take a look at that auction, it's going to be at the other Wayne County auction, which is at WayneCountyTreasurerMI.com. I can go there by clicking register for tax sale, or any of these buttons will take me to relevant pages there. But if this is going to take me to that page where the auction will be advertised with registration information. The one thing I do want to show you, let's add it to my shopping list too. I'm going to add to my Michigan shopping list. But when we've been able to get to these counties fast enough, we've been putting in county-specific links like these three. We are trying to catch up on the rest of the state, but Wayne County is one of the ones where we can take you to the actual property search at the treasurer site or the assessor, or even to the county's GIS map. And that just gives you a way to triangulate or look into this data further from the county source itself. Okay, so that's a lot to cover about the auctions. If you really want to try this out, if you're not a Parcel Fair subscriber, we have a 7-day free trial where you can do unlimited searching on this. It's going to limit the number of property views, like the reports, sort of like these. But you can do unlimited searching and play around and see if you like the system. So if you want to do that, I'll put a link in the video description, and it's essentially this free trial button will take you, sign up for the 7-day trial only. If you're ready to buy and actually want to use the site, at the time this video is made, our rates are $49 a month or $475 a year. And those do change over time, so if you're watching this video in the future, the rate might be different. But yeah, that's really everything I want to talk about Michigan today. You know, if you're just getting started there, I hope this was helpful. If you are a Michigan veteran and have been to tons of auctions and know all about it, we'd love to hear from you. We're always trying to learn from others' experience and build our experience as well. So please reach out if you want to talk about it. And I'd love to hear your success stories, maybe some of your failures, some of the things that went wrong, and so we can all learn from it. But we'd love to chat about this stuff. So reach out in the comments or on our website. And again, there'll be links in the video description for all those things I just showed you. And again, I hope this was helpful. And like this video if you want to help us out on the channel here, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep seeing videos like this. And we should be back next week with a tax investing news video covering all of our markets. But this has been fun getting a deep dive on a single market together, and timely with the auction season coming up. So best of luck at the auctions, and let us know how you do.